What other questions do I got for a young entrepreneur? Okay, let's circle back to the beginning because we kind of broke off of it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to bother elaborating in your full, because again, you'll notice this, the one thing that people start separating themselves from the average is they do things more than average. That's how you get better than average results. So he has a salary, whether it's hourly or salary, whatever. It's trading time for money. That is you have to start with that because you have to pay your bills. You can't have a bad month and still eat if you're relying on your entrepreneurial generation of money.
Yeah.
See, I don't know if you want to bother going into your salary job.
Sure.
But I think, let's start there. You don't have to go in deep, but then explain how you're already at 24, what your side hustle is. And I think you'd be surprised because everybody assumes it's got to be some drop shipping or some crypto. People have this weird assumption that you have to do something profound to get further ahead. So detail as much as you want. If it's too personal, don't go too far into it. But if you can be as explicative as possible, people can understand what even the simplest, because nothing is difficult. It just takes time.
Yeah, and effort.
So I'll stop talking. Go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm fine with sharing. Honestly, I thought about this a little bit in advance because I knew I was going to have this chat and I didn't know what I was really comfortable sharing. Honestly, I don't even care. I don't really care if I'm judged by anybody here because you guys aren't.
No one wealthy will ever judge someone in the middle of a hustle. I know that. You will never be judged by someone who's actually higher up the success ladder than you because they know exactly where you have to start. If someone's judging you, it's out of jealousy.
And I think it's more important that I'll share as much in detail as I can because maybe somebody younger is watching this and it actually helps them. And you live somewhere else other than Edmonton. And if I don't go far enough in depth, you can please feel free to reach out. I'm more than happy to share every single thing I've come to learn and do because, like I said, if it's going to help someone else, even in Edmonton, this is a blue, what do they call it, blue ocean economy. I believe there can be multiple successful people doing the same thing.
Absolutely.
So I work a corporate job. I do B2B sales, and the reason I got into that is because from 18 or 19, I learned that you have to obviously earn a salary so that you're safe. But a commission is the most important thing to get used to because it's literally a connection between your performance and your finances. And the better you do at your job, the less time you waste, the more efficient you're able to work, and the more money you're able to bring in. You know, it's a no-brainer to someone who's just doing an admin role or an accounting role where it doesn't matter how good of an accountant you are. You can have your partner's a crappy accountant. You can be a 4.0 GPA accountant, but you guys get paid the same salary because you both got hired at the same time. So sales differentiates you from the pack. If you're better than other salespeople, you just make more money. Great job to get into at a young age. My business, on the other hand, I started this business mid-COVID, and I've run other businesses too. I've done online sales. I've done online stores. I sold a product during COVID that I wasn't too proud of. I sold masks, designer masks when COVID hit. But it was, honestly, it was a terrible business because it was online, in my opinion. There's so many things you can't control. Online businesses, in my experience, and this is just my opinion, but they seem to only do really well when you have massive capital to invest because that's how the big fish work. You need to be able to buy more minimum order, higher minimum order quantity than the lower guys, so you can get bigger margins, so you can get more into marketing and sell more of your product. And if you're broke, just don't waste your time doing it. Start a business like what I'm doing right now, which is I sell couches and I do logistics. So the reason I bought this truck was because it's, like I said, it's not a sexy truck, it's not a lifted diesel. I drive a V6.
Ooh, my panties are dropping.
Yeah. This isn't like some Duramax or Cummins or anything. This is a regular cab GMC Sierra that I bought from a farmer local to me for like $5,000. That has an 8-foot box and a canopy, and that means I can haul stuff with it for people.
In any weather.
In any weather, right? So I started this business that I can't even take credit in figuring out myself. I actually watched a YouTube video where a guy broke down how he was doing this to break free of his career, and I just kind of copied him. But essentially, you go and you take couches that you either purchase at a low price or get for free if you have nothing, and you make it better. So if that means sewing, you got to sew. If that means cleaning, that means you got to clean. If that means staining wood, that means you got to stain wood. You know, whatever it takes. Every product that I've ever sold has left my hands better than how I got it. And that's kind of my motto for that business, is it has to be going out in better quality than when I got it. And I offer delivery, which is a huge service. I actually didn't realize how important delivery was until I got into this industry, and then it turned into a logistics company too.
Is this sounding familiar at all, if you know my history?
Exactly. So, I mean, I sell the couches, you know, the product, but in reality, I'm selling someone a piece of furniture that they didn't have to go get. It's just brought to them. I bring it into their apartment, their home, whatever. Either would have sometimes I've had business partners, other times I've done it independently, and I've just paid friends cash, but I'll get someone to help me move it in. I've never had a bad sale, never had anybody that texted me the next day saying, hey, I hate this is a terrible product, just because I do put effort in, and I'm professional and I show up and deliver, and I'm good with my word and timing. But it's such a great business because it's like you took the lemonade stand to the next level. Anyone can do it, and it teaches you a lot of skills. First of all, you have to know how to manage your money, because you got to buy a truck, and then you got to figure out, you know, what is your inventory. So people talk about wanting to do a startup. This is a perfect startup if you want to manage it brick and mortar or have inventory that you have to deal with and manage. Then you have to be a marketer, because you have to write copyright better than your competitors. There's other people that do this in Edmonton, and I have my own script. I have my own titles for ads that do really well that nobody else copies, and it was actually my business partner's idea at the time. So I had to create that. I take my own pictures, I do my photo editing. There's the whole marketing aspect, and then there's the sales side. I have a word track that I use with people that I got from the sales world that most people that sell on Facebook probably don't use. When people send you on Facebook we get the, is it available?
No, I don't have Facebook.
So for anyone that's bought anything on Facebook Marketplace, you'll be able to relate to this. There's a big button when you're interested in something you can send, and it immediately sends, is this available? Question mark. And usually people just ask that to find out if the product's already sold or it's pending. But I actually figured out how to leverage that. And I would always respond to when they said, is this available? I would say, yes. Do you want delivery tonight or tomorrow?
Holy shit.
That was the game.
You sound like a mini Amazon.
Yeah.
What do you think turned Amazon into $1 trillion company? What? I can have it before I press enter?
Yep, because I don't give them time to answer questions. Will it fit? Is the color exactly what? No. Do you want it tonight or tomorrow? And it works so many times. And like I said, people aren't feeling
sales
pressure.
Sales is psychology.
It is.
It has nothing to do with the product.
No, not at all.
How many sales have been made just because you sent an email? You know, you think, well, this every time an email shows up, how many of you have done this? Oh my God, 2-for-1 pizzas next week or tonight. Oh shit, I want pizza. Really? Did you want pizza before the email?
No, exactly.
Exactly.
So, I know these people. I know how they're shopping. They're looking for other couches. So how can I just immediately get the sale if there's a chance it's gonna go to someone else anyways? Well, I can mitigate the amount of time that they're wondering if, they're probably thinking, well, I'm gonna ask a few questions, but ultimately, I want it pretty soon. So if I just say off the get-go, well, I can either have it to you in 2 hours or tomorrow morning, which do you prefer? They're gonna think, oh wow, okay, this is, damn, I'll take it tonight. And sometimes they'll ask questions like, oh, how big is it? And we'll measure it out. But I didn't include measurements.
I get that question a lot.
These are a little bit bigger measurements. Couches.
So, teach their own.
Teach their own. But yeah, honestly, all the things that you think that would come up as natural objections as to not doing it, like, oh, it's got to be a hassle dealing with, I don't even know, but people having to measure out all the sides before you list it. You don't have to do that. I sold probably 45% of my couches without people knowing how big they were.
I don't think people watching are actually going to be able to appreciate how much you're giving them right now, because I've never gone in. Nothing on our channel goes into the psychology behind making a sale. This is how important it is to have someone like Connor here. For the reasons that we start, what did I start when I said? It's so hard for people to understand how to get where we are if they're still 9 to 5ing it for a paycheck. We completely forgot the hustle of making a sale. He's breaking it down for you, micron by micron, of how to even sell a used coach. Forget about the $1 million cars we were talking about 5 minutes ago. You know why he's going to be collecting cars as an investment for the next 5 years? because he's going to apply the exact same stuff that he's talking about on a free or very inexpensive couch. It's all the same thing. Now, you're not hearing it from me. He's right here at 24.
Yeah,
he's not being paid to say this. I forced him into this Q&A. He had no idea what the questions were going to be. I love this shit, so there's no way it can be scripted. Because you know me, I love having people on the back foot just to see. Because if they don't have time to rehearse it, they can't polish their shit. They can't come up with. I love to put them on the spot. And the fact that you believe in your process so much that you're not even, looking up to the left, or you're not dodging questions. You're coming into this. Nobody. And here's another way that you can find out what type of person you're dealing with. They'll always try and hide what they do because they're worried you're going to do it better. The reality is every business out there has competition. So why is he winning? He's telling you how to be his competition.
Absolutely.
He's not afraid of you because he'll do it his way, you'll do it your way, and it'll settle out, and the best person always wins. He's not worried about you knowing because there's probably 40 other people in the city doing it as well.
Yep.
He's successful.
The difference is if somebody after this interview hit me up at 9:30 wanting to buy something, I would just go deliver it.
And if they wanted it sooner, the entrepreneur in me is like, get your ass out of here.
Yeah.
We'll continue this next time. I got plenty of cigars.
Absolutely. And that's actually how I really, when I got into the business, I was in a really bad place. It was mid-COVID. I had lost my job and I had to make...
All right, so we had, this is what happens when you get talking with people like-minded. You'll notice the cameras adjust a little bit. We have to change the battery because, like I said, we can turn these into 3-hour conversations. A lot of people will think it's pretentious to sit around and talk about money. No, that's what our tables do. We don't talk about gossip. We don't care about what celebrities are doing. We don't care what so-and-so's wearing. We don't care about who's smashing who. Our tables just talk about shit that gets us excited, and it's not even the dollar value of what we discuss. It's the pursuit of being better than we were before we sat down. So we can do this for hours, but we'll just continue on here. I'm not sure exactly where we left off, but Connor was basically just explaining the process. He's not just buying and selling this. He's going through the entire process, much like I did when I was importing cars, learning every step of the way. Most people don't realize that a restaurant is not selling you the menu. You know what they're selling you? This and this. The drinks. When you realize that regardless of whether it's an Italian restaurant, let's say Indian cuisine, a steakhouse, they're only making 40 to 50% profit on that stuff. This is 800% profit. They're luring you in by the menu. So what he's telling you here is, yeah, he makes money on the couches, but the fact that he'll deliver it because the average consumer doesn't want to go out of their... He's selling convenience. He's selling a package, not a couch. The couch is irrelevant. I've sold car parts. I've sold adult toys. Now my business is rum, cigars, coffee. It's irrelevant what it's irrelevant. It's the spin, your way of delivering your product, the allure of making the sale. This is what drives entrepreneurs, not the dollar. It is the challenge of what do I gotta do? How do I gotta alter the way I do things to make this sale? Not in a scam way, because when you believe in your product, you don't have to scam. But each person needs it delivered in a different way. And the best salespeople identify their customer and how to deliver the message to get them what they need so they're happy. Because you can't just be like, oh, this is on sale, buy it. Yeah, but everything in life is on sale. That's how they sucker you in. What are you doing? So let's get back into that. Where were we? You were just going into the process of making sure that the psychological way of making a sale.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead, I'm going to eat.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, like I said, it's the...
This is why I look like this and he's skinny.
It's the word track, right? Like all sales, it's always the word track, and it's the customer journey, customer experience. So for me, I just figured out, yeah, you know what? They're looking for other options that are very similar. I'm not going to allow them almost to waste my time with questions like the color until I know when they want it. because that can be answered later when they've committed to when they want it. That means they're serious. If they change their mind, they can change their mind. I'm not saying I have to. There's more questions that come after you ask them if they want it tonight or tomorrow. It's
not pressure sales, just making it the most attractive package.
Absolutely. And I started to learn. I made a lot of mistakes, but I ended up learning how to qualify, which is,
not wasting your time.
If they live in a 4-story apartment with no elevator, which I've done several moves with multiple couches, I'm not negotiating on price. I don't care if it's a $550 couch and you have 4 flights of stairs to go up. Yeah, you can pay the full pop. There is no wiggle room because there's not another company that would, or another wholesale couch sales guy that would do that deal. It's terrible business. So learning how to, I think the biggest takeaway that takes the longest amount of time in that industry is learning how to identify good business and bad business. Because you can take any deal at the end of the day and it might make sense at the time, but man, when you're closing the door on the truck and sitting back down, you've been hauling a sectional of 3 flights of stairs for the last hour and a half, and your profit margin could have been better, but you settled on a deal to get a sale done today, and you've now lost that piece of inventory. It's like, shit.
And I'm going to build off of that because he's still literally 10 feet tall and bulletproof. Your body doesn't like what he just explained 10 years from now.
No.
So making an extra couple bucks, wasting an extra hour just to make a sale, experience, knowledge dictates everything going forward, not the dollar value.
And I'll even say too, to be completely transparent with you guys, I think there is
I'm making a mess.
There's a lot of no, you're good.
Of course I'm good.
They're a little dusty sometimes, but
yeah, but I'm dusty.
I'll be transparent. I know that I can't make selling couches in Edmonton $1 million business, but I do know that when I've turned it into a heavy 5-figure a month business, which is very doable,
absolutely,
I can then turn that into a video series on YouTube or a course and sell that to people. And that's a course that I would not have an issue asking a 17 or 18-year-old for $1,000 for. I would not feel bad about that at all. They will make that back in the first month. The first month I ever dedicated myself to doing this, when I knew nothing about it, I made $2,000 plus a few hundred in expenses, so probably $1,500 profit at the end of the day. But that was my first month. You can literally pay this thing. If I sold it for a couple $1,000, I haven't talked to Chris about that yet, but I will when that time comes. It's tremendous value, and I completely believe it because I've actually done it, and that's where the confidence comes from. I'm not stuttering about anything I'm saying because I've actually done everything I've said here. And it is a fantastic business, just in the fact that anybody can do it literally anywhere. If you're in any city in North America and you have the access to a truck, you can literally start this tomorrow and even DM me and I'll teach. I have a presentation, a PowerPoint presentation that's like 9 steps. I'll send it to you. I'll teach you everything to avoid, everything to do. I've given it to my friends in this city for free. 0 of them have done anything with it.
I am going to hit on that point so much. Because we don't charge people to sit down with them, they put no value in anything we say. But these are the same people that will go pay $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 for a weekend course, which is essentially just a motivational fist bump, ass slap, get you all worked up. Yeah. Monday rolls around, you're like, that sounds like a lot of work, but I don't have a support system, so I'm just gonna go back to 9 to 5 again and be like, oh, it's not for me.
Yeah.
This is really the problem with giving shit away for free. It really is.
Yeah.
I'm glad you've learned that early in life.
Yeah, because literally, I've given it to so many people. Some that were in a tougher place, others that were just trying to make extra money and probably didn't want to learn it. Like I said, I would have taught them everything because I was doing stuff that was a huge waste of time. Imagine getting a set of leather couches that needed to be color changed, and then investing like $200 in different leather dyes and probably 30 hours of your time in a heated garage staining couches. These are things that...
And not the way that I stain couches.
Yeah, with a crappy little glove and a sponge. Not fun. Not fun at all. And I'll never forget those moments ever because of the emotions attached and all that. But I can teach anybody how to do it, and it's such a simple business, and that's kind of why I love it. But,
and just this is not why we're here. This is us getting into the. He just showed you the process. He broke down an entire thought process from an idea, which is knowledge, on how to take something that exists everywhere. You don't need special. You don't need to invest in the education. Like, you don't have to go to school for this. Essentially, all you've said that is a requirement is a driver's license. And even if you don't have that because you're 15, get an older brother or an older friend with a license and go into business together.
Yeah, you don't even need the truck. What I actually realized afterwards is you can, if you're smart with your time and you can line up a few transactions in a row and you have
a truck for $60.
I was just gonna say budget. Go get a budget truck. Spend one day collecting all your inventory. Spend that week refurbishing it, and then that weekend get those ads up on Thursday because everybody buys on Thursday, Friday, and deliver those things on a Saturday and line them all up.
You can't pay for this knowledge, even though he will have something later on where he can say. He's telling you everything that a typical company would never want you to know because it's the basis of how do they make money. All you have to do is watch this channel and to get.
That would be $1,500 because you could easily pick up a few couches for maybe a couple $100 for free and sell all those for over $500 a piece. Easy $1,500, easy. I bought sectionals. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
This is how crazy this is. I've bought sectionals for like $200. I've probably put a week into them and I've sold them for $1,500.
And again, is that anything is that going to help him retire? No. But what he's done is he's chronicled how to take an idea. He just gave you a 5-year plan in 15 minutes. Yes, an extra $1,500 a month would be great if you're 9 to 5ing it paycheck to paycheck. But then he also told you how to then take it to the next level and turn it into a marketable business, and then turn it into a series where you can sell the idea behind it.
Yeah.
Book rights, copyrights, all that kind of stuff is how you reach the world. Yes, you can really only sell couches in the city or the vicinity, but you can sell an idea to 7.8 billion people. Now you know why there's wealthy people. They didn't steal money. They did what everybody else wasn't willing to. And like he said, he gave all this information for free to so many people. And you know why they didn't do it? Because that's typical human mindset. The reason people are where they are is not because they're being held back because of the way they look or because their government. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. There are places in the world where your government will stop you from ever becoming. We're very fortunate being in Canada. But any first world country, your government does not stop you from getting ahead. You do. That's it. In a world of internet and online sales, there's no way someone knows anything personal enough about you to use that against you in a sale. Just know that. So where you are is exactly where you put yourself. You can't be a millionaire tomorrow without massive lottery ticket luck. But what you can do is every day put a little more time into being independent. Nothing he's saying here is going to make you rich next year. But because I've seen so many people go through this process, he doesn't sound any different than I'm sorry if this sounds so profound, but I'll be completely honest. I can tell where someone's going by the way they think and the actions that come out of that thought process based off of knowledge and experience. But everyone that I've seen join the 7-figure club talks and acts like this. I know where he's going to be at 30. He doesn't even know where he's going to be at 30 because you don't know until you hit each next step. I know where he's going to be at 30, and I'm telling you right now, listen to this shit because I'll replay it again in 5 years and I'll show you where he is because he doesn't know where that is, but I do. And you're going to like it. So what are you going to do for the next year, 2, 3? You going to wait till that video comes out? How about this? Why don't you prove me wrong by taking a run at the entrepreneur life while securing yourself with your salary? Because everybody says, well, isn't that so risky? To me, that's not risky. A 9 to 5 for 40 years and hoping that results in a secure retirement? Sorry, you can't sell me that plan. To me, that's risky. Well, what do they say? Well, what if your idea fails and you got to go back to work? So that means our worst case scenario is what you're doing. The worst case in our life is going back to what you're doing right now. That's what we're going to fall back on. I mean, I'm not going to, but for someone like him, should he leave his salaried job to pursue this, the worst case is he goes back to a salaried job. But if there's just a 1% chance to be financially independent and secure, I think you can take that.
I mean, I hope my employer doesn't see this, but it's funny because after all this happened with my car and everything, I kind of had this, it hit me that I realized I don't really need the job now. I don't actually have to be there. I'm going there because it's a great, I actually really enjoy what I do because my job is, unlike most sales jobs where you're selling a product in exchange for someone's time or money, I'm in a business that I'm actually helping people get further ahead in life while also benefiting a company without getting too far.
It's rewarding you doing what you do.
Absolutely. I get to help
Which is
people.
very fortunate.
I'm very lucky. Yeah, I get to actually help.
I don't like that
people.
word. Fortunate, not lucky.
Very true.
Lucky is buying a lottery ticket and winning. But you still have to buy the ticket. So is it really luck? I don't know anybody that's won the lottery without buying a ticket. So again, careful with the word lucky. Use fortunate.
So exactly. I'm very fortunate to have found this position and done so well at it where I'm able to help a lot of people. But yeah, I mean, at some point, this is I will pursue other things. But I don't have the pressure. I don't have the pressure to be there anymore. Essentially, I'm choosing to be there still.
Which makes you enjoy it even more, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah.
On those days that you don't like it, you're not like, oh, I have to stay here for the paycheck. So that's never in the back of your mind.
Absolutely.
See, that never adds to the frustration of what could be an already frustrating day. You don't want to have to be like, well, I don't have a choice. Because the moment you tell a human they don't have a choice, they get really mad. So that is a very great situation when you do not need your salary, but the longer you keep your salary, the more you can invest in. And I tell people that so much. People always ask, when do you leave your time for money, job, career, whatever? How do you tell if your side hustle is doing well? What I usually tell people is it has to match your salaried position and do 25 to 40% more on its average month. Don't take the best month because, oh geez, I just sold a whole bunch of Christmas stockings in November, so you know what, I'm giving up my job. And then January rolls around, you don't make money for 10 more months. You need at least a year of income, 2 years better, so you understand seasonal changes, before you ever leave the security of that salaried or hourly job.
And looking ahead is so important, especially in sales. I know this from just being in sales that after December 15th, you're probably not going to make money until February.
They don't tell you that.
It's the truth. Nobody's in the office from the 15th onward, and January nobody buys anything.
What have you heard of? Black Monday.
Yeah.
That's the third Monday in January where everybody gets that Christmas credit card bill. They're trying to figure out how to pay for Christmas, not a couch, not a car.
Nothing.
Any one of my friends that does any type of sales, that's when they go on holidays. They go on holidays.
There's no point. There's no point sticking around.
From like the 22nd of December till the first week in February.
There's nothing going on. You can call as many businesses, talk to as many consumers as you want. It goes from being take whatever your average numbers of sales and divide it by 2 at least. Cut it in half, maybe even more, depending on the industry you're in, how niche specific it is. But yeah, it's very slim pickings at that era. So we're even coming into that, and I'm already preloading myself for that. I'm trying to really crank my own sales in my corporate job, as well as the logistics and couch business that I run, because I know there's no point. I'm probably going to be using that time to clear out my inventory in November and December, and use December to stock up on fresh stuff and get in a lot of good quality stuff. Not really worry about transacting.
That's very important, because what I said was the people who are already in their climb and further ahead, they'll take January off. That is imperative that someone like him does not, because then he's going to be on the back heel with nothing to sell when people are ready to buy.
Yeah.
You don't go on holidays before you can pay for the holiday up front. If your holiday goes on your credit card and it's not cleared off by the end of that billing cycle, you have not worked hard enough to deserve that holiday, and it's going to put you backwards.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we could go on forever.
Yeah,
I'm going to cut this here.
Yeah.
Connor, really appreciate you coming out.
Thank you.
Bridging that gap.
It's awesome.
I love stuff like this because typically we're talking about things that might be out of a lot of people's reach. Every single second of what was said here applies to everyone watching this at any age. It's great that he's figured this out this young, but if you're 45 or 50, you have less time to make a difference, especially going into a recession, if you want to retire in the next 10 years. But you got to start with little steps, not big risks. So we're going to leave that there. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Chris, that's Connor, Level 6 World. We'll be back at you again. We're out.
Awesome.
Yeah.